If you deprive from people the right to grow their own food, they're going to suck salt. If you deprive from people the right to be able to earn a living and get a job, they're going to suck salt. And if you take food from people, and you take jobs from people, and you take hope from people, you effectively destroy the area in which the people are living. Because when we go across the world and we tell people, look, we in the Caribbean and start this climate thing, it ain't us that had the industrial plants with the coal burning. It wasn't us that take people and use them as beasts of burden to make wealth for people. And in fact, that is why the Caribbean, with its history of slavery and exploitation, today has so many labor parties that are as old as we are, because we know what it is to have to correct the historical injustices of history. Look at people! Look at people! Prime Minister Skerritt, you know you told me that you had geothermal energy in Dominica. But you never tell me that you had labor thermal energy to create electricity. Seriously, members of the Dominica Labour Party, members and supporters, we love you too from Barbados. I have come here this evening, first and foremost, to say happy birthday, happy 70th, to celebrate and to reason for a few minutes. So if we can celebrate and reason, it allows us, as you know, Michelle told us earlier this year that if you work hard, you have to do what? You have to what? Party hard. But before we get to party, we're going to do a little reasoning and a little celebration. Because we take a lot for granted in this Caribbean. And there are countries that would love to have institutions as old, as strong, and as credible as the Dominica Labour Party. My own party, the Barbados Labour Party, celebrated 87 years this year. And you and I know they tell you that the good book offers you 70. But when it comes to a political institution, take it from me, life now starts at 70. But the reason why I need to reason with you is because when this party came to office 25 years ago, the world was a different world. And while you have been able to achieve so much, you have been able to set the country on a path of a graduate per household. You have been able to make sure that your workers have a minimum wage, just as we do in Barbados, and ours goes up again today. You have been able to make sure that you have been able to look and take care of people because you see them, you feel them, and you hear them. But the difficulty that we have in today's world, and I said it when we first came to office a few years ago, is that the world is so different. And I don't need to tell you in Dominica that, because you, more than any other in the Caribbean, have been on the front line of the climate crisis. And we know that he and she who feels it knows it. From Ophelia to Erica, and Prime Minister, I still remember even in opposition when Erica was coming and you were trying to get back home, to get to your people. Then to Maria. And 8 years later, 2,900 houses later, you continue to carry a message because no one can question your authenticity about speaking about the climate crisis.
If Jah is standing by my side, then why should I be afraid?
Don't be afraid. And I say that because when we go across the world and we tell people, look, we in the Caribbean didn't start this climate thing. It ain't us that had the industrial plants with the coal burning. It wasn't us that take people and use them as beasts of burden to make wealth for people. And in fact, that is why the Caribbean, with its history of slavery and exploitation, today has so many labor parties that are as old as we are, because we know what it is to have to correct the historical injustices of history.
Who we voting? Who we voting? Labour Party.
I have said that we bear the double jeopardy of the climate crisis because we were the beast of burden that created the wealth that allowed the Industrial Revolution to come in England and Europe and North America. And having been the beast of burden to create that wealth, we are now the victims on the front line of the crisis. And that doesn't only mean hurricanes and floods, as you know well here. In my own country, drought continues to be an issue. Barbados is a water-scarce country. And then throughout this entire region, the sargassum seaweed is choking the opportunities of too many of our people who would otherwise benefit, whether from hotels or inns near the coast or fishing. And we have to find the money to be able to make the difference. I ask you to think about Africa. And when you go home, go and look at a map, or if you've got a smartphone, pick it up and take it out and look at a map of Africa. And across Africa, you see a big, 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 broad brown line. You know what that brown line stands for? It stands for desert. It stands for no water. It stands for hardship. And when you start to study it, if you deprive from people the right to grow their own food, they're going to suck salt. If you deprive from people the right to be able to earn a living and get a job, they're going to suck salt. And if you take food from people, and you take jobs from people, and you take hope from people, you effectively destroy the area in which the people are living. to go there with me, because you need to understand that even as bad as we are, what we have learned to do is to become resilient. Our great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents had to become resilient to live through slavery and to live through colonialism. And we don't have slavery and colonialism, but we have new enemies like the climate crisis, like the geopolitics of the world, that in spite of the fact that throughout this region, we have taken steps to protect our people from cost of living increases. The increases still come at us. Most governments, including yours, including mine, have had to take a basket of food items, a basket of sanitary items, remove the VAT, remove the import duties, remove the revenue that would otherwise go to the government, to make sure that it is accessible and affordable for the ordinary people of this region. And when I say that we're going to reason, let us reason. Because you and I know that the majority of what we have on, the majority of what we use, we don't get made in the Caribbean. It's made outside. And therefore, if the ships are not coming, or if they're coming when they feel like, or if when they come in charging us more money, then it means that the merchants can pass on. And that is why earlier this year, when you saw the U.S. government want to put the tariffs on the ships from China going into the U.S. ports, you saw all of us in the region stand up and say, that is not fair. If you do this to the Caribbean, we depend on food items, not the fresh fruit and vegetables that you have here in abundance, but the manufactured items that you use. We depend on that coming in every 7 days. And if you therefore start to put costs on ships, it's going to get passed on to the people. Mercifully, we won that battle for now. But I started by telling you that the world is different. There was no war between Ukraine and Russia when Labour first came to power in 2000. There was no war in Israel and Gaza. And while there were wars in Africa, the truth is that what is going on in Sudan is a crying shame and an affront to our humanity. And what we have now to do in the Caribbean is to recognize, you see, if you came in here to this Labour Party celebration with 10 people there and 10 people there and 10 people there, people would want to know what's going on, what's happening. But you have come together because you understand that we are always stronger together. And my brothers and sisters, as we fight these battles that are causing us to face high debt, that are causing us to face cost of living increases that we try to shield you from, that are causing us to face even shortages. Because if you miss parts for your water authority, and the water authority can't get the parts overseas because the supply chain disrupt, you're going to want bills, understandably. But the reality is that people don't keep stock waiting anymore. They don't keep inventory sitting down waiting anymore. So that our whole concept and our whole understanding has to change. And the first thing I say to you as Caribbean people is that we have to find common purpose and work together. Because if we are stronger together, then it means we can achieve objectives together, working together. You know it. And what it means is that there are some things that we must do together. We have to be able to make sure that we can work together to get a better deal for our countries. We cannot build schools and hospitals, clinics, water reservoirs with 10-year money and 15-year money. It is too short. When you go to borrow for a house, you look to borrow for 20 years and 25 years because you need the time stretch out to pay back for the house. Well, the government is no different. But if the government is only getting 10-year money overseas, it means that by the time you go now to fix your next set of problems, you tie up, and choke up with debt. You have to stretch it out. And that is what we have been fighting for in the Bridgetown Initiative, that we need longer debt, that we need cheaper debt, because we need to build countries for our people. And if we build countries where our people want to stay, nobody ain't looking to go foreign, nobody ain't looking to go US or UK. And that is why we make the point as a Caribbean region that we have to stick together. Because if we can create these policies, if we can get a little more elbow room to do the things that we need to do, then we can continue to deliver for you. Because the tradition of Labour parties is that we don't only seek prosperity for the sake of prosperity, we seek it to make the average person, the workers of our country, better and stronger so that they can build for their families. And my friends, in order to do that in today's world, I say to you that leadership matters. Leadership matters. Because if you don't have the right leadership, you will end up with confusion. If you don't have the right leadership, you will end up with chaos. And I say to you that us in Barbados learned that the hard way when we had our lost decade. But what I want us to understand in this region now is that yes, we need the leadership at the top, but we need the partnership with ordinary people. Ordinary people must begin to play their part. And I know that your Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit knows it, because his has not been a journey that has been easy. He has had to contend with all of the challenges and crises to which I have referred. And he has done it without fanfare, remaining focused and making sure that this country that others would not have given a chance to has remained standing. Now I want to address something, because I don't come here to get involved in your domestic politics. But I belong to something called a labor movement. And the labor movement has in it the labor parties. I don't wear red by accident. I wear red because that is our color. And I lead a labor party. And in leading a labor party, I understand that other labor parties across this region have similar philosophies and have similar challenges. And we can't talk about working in an isolated way, because I've just shown you that the only way the region is going to get through this awkward moment, where all that we have come to take for granted is changing, is by cooperating together. Let me give you the examples. When Ophelia hit, when Erica hit, when Maria hit, it was SEDEMA, the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, that was pivotal to helping your government, along with the international agencies, coordinate. That's not a fancy language. That was the difference between families getting food, families getting water, families getting shelter. But today, a lot of the aid that would normally go into Sedema, it vanishing. It vanishing. The Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology, that is the one that tells us about where to find the water. That is the one that helps us with the weather. That is the one that allows us to prepare so that you don't get hit and all of a sudden, like a tornado, something hit you, like what happened in the States 2 weeks ago when 21 people died. That Caribbean Institute of Meteorology and Hydrology is the difference between life and death for somebody living on a mountainside in Dominica. I go further. We had something, how many people remember CARFA? Remember during COVID? Remember when the tests take care? They had to go down to Trinidad to get tests. That is the Caribbean Public Health Agency, otherwise known as CARFA. And what has happened is that a lot of these agencies that previously got help from the US or other countries are not going to get the same level of help. You watch CNN, you watch Fox, you watch all the programs, you see what is happening. So that it means that we have to have a partnership with our people to carry more weight and for our people to recognize, don't go and build where you shouldn't build. Don't go and put your house where you know you're going to have trouble and somebody lose a life, or you're definitely going to lose your property. These are the individual decisions that we can make. And if we are also, to be honest, we have to start doing more for ourselves and taking care of those in our communities and in our families who cannot take care of themselves. And we do it with a spirit of solidarity. And that is why I say that leadership matters. Because in today's world with this phone thing, in today's world with AI, the truth is that leadership must evolve as well. You can't have leadership that's standing back and watching and pontificating. You have to have leadership that is agile. You have to have leadership that is in touch with people. You have to have it being agile without being reckless. You have to have it being compassionate without being sentimental. You have to have it being principled without being paralyzed. And if we can do those things, trust me, there is so much more we can achieve together. In CARICOM, we had a Commission of Economy. And the Commission of Economy, don't mind all the fancy words. Let me tell you what it really tell you. It tell you that you must make doing business easier. That it's too hard to do business in this region. We're going to make it easier for our people to do it. It tell us that we must turn around and we must make sure that if you're going to use tax policies, you must use them for the benefit of creating innovation so that some of you can do things, whether it is in agriculture or agro-processing or tourism, or indeed, I like to say, being Caribbean citizens, but with global reach. Because with the AI and the technology, so long as we give our people education and develop skills, you can stand right here and do work any part of the world. And whether we like it or not, and it is something that is difficult for people from islands to understand, we don't have enough people in the region. We don't have enough people. Guyana is the same size as the United Kingdom. Guyana has less than 1 million people. The United Kingdom has 65 million people. Suriname is bigger than the Netherlands. The Netherlands got 17 million people, and Suriname has 580,000 people. Belize is the size of Israel. Belize has 400,000 people. Israel has 8 million. So that when I say that we have to have a partnership between people and leaders, It is to begin to discuss some of these difficult issues, because you're not going to get the kind of economic growth without people. And that is why persons like myself and your Prime Minister and others believe in the single market and single economy, believe in the freedom of movement. But even if all of us move, we still don't have enough people in this region, other than perhaps Haiti. And then we have to begin to understand the language difficulties, so that if we can get together and treat to training our people, treat to how we're going to deal with this population deficit, how we're going to deal with making business easier, making it easier and cheaper to call one another and to access data across phones. Because it isn't only the phones that matter, it's the businesses that use the data that will make a difference for you. It will allow you to have the overseas jobs from here. If we can do those things, and we can also come together and pool procurement. During COVID, we went and joined the Africa Medical Supplies Platform. Nobody wanted to give us any vaccines. Nobody wanted to give us any ventilators. Nobody wanted to give us any medicine. And we got together with the Africans who said, my brothers and sisters, come. I was chairing CARICOM then, so I can tell you firsthand. And a country as small as Dominica, or a population even smaller like St. Kitts and Nevis at 40,000, would now and could now access all of the things on that platform at the same price that a country as large as Nigeria with over 200 million people could do it. And you and I know it. If you go to the shop to buy 2 bottles of water, or 2 bottles of Coke, 2 bottles of juice, they're going to sell you at top dollar. But if you go to the same suppliers and tell them you want to buy 50 cases a month, what are they going to tell you? The price is going to drop, because you're buying scale, you're buying enough. So when I say pool procurement, I mean Dominica, I mean Antigua, I mean Guyana, I mean Jamaica, I mean Trinidad, I mean Belize, I mean Barbados, I mean Suriname, I mean all of us. We have water authorities that buy in pipe every day, and we buying at top dollar instead of coming together and being able to pool the procurement. We buy stuff for schools, we buy stuff for hospitals. So my friends, when I tell you that we need to partner and we need to come together, it is to be able to make it better and easier for you. Because if we can save money there, we have more money here to spend elsewhere. So, I want you equally to recognize that the kind of country we got and the kind of society that we live in, while leadership matters, is also the responsibility of all of us. All of us. Anybody who leaves a house empty, don't go in it. Don't fix nothing. Don't clean nothing. What's going to happen to the house? It's going to start to fall down. It's going to start to fall. And one of the things that I've been trying to say in my own country and across this region is that ordinary citizens, yes, we have rights, but we also have duty and responsibilities. We have responsibilities to each other. When you walk the road in that crowd, your responsibility is not to mash nobody foot. When you walk the road, your responsibility is not to curse or blackguard or libel anybody. Not true, Raymond? So that it is difficult, because when we came out of independence, because of how bad things were for us before, everybody focused only on rights. And they should have, because you have a right to be educated. You have a right to be treated like a human being. You have a right to be treated fairly. But what we didn't do enough of was to tell everybody the same way you have 2 foot, the same way you have 2 foot and 2 hands, one side is rights and the other side is responsibility. And that the country that we want to build can only work for us if the two walk in together, if the two move in together. Rights and responsibilities. Let's get together and feel alright. And that is what is going to give us the one love. But if we don't do that, and you have a government pulling one way trying to help you, and you have some people trying to help, the middle is going to fall out. And therefore, you can't rely only on these people on this platform. You, all of us in the region, have to accept that in this climate crisis, the first responsibility is our duty to ourselves and our family and our neighborhood. So that if you see a house in which some people live in and you know they can't withstand the hurricane or the floods, you call them and take them out and take care of them. If you see people raising a family, the government going to help with welfare, the government going to do their own little thing, but you and I know that invariably that is not enough always. And that sometimes what is needed is a word. Sometimes what is needed is a word to give support. Sometimes what is needed is a word to advise people. Sometimes what is needed is an intervention. Sometimes what is needed is to give the family a break and take the other children while you let the people go and catch the head and come back to a level.
Hi everyone, thanks for checking out the Bub Report's social media pages. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch our weekly live show, follow our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can catch repeat episodes on Wednesdays at 4 and 5 p.m. respectively on CRFM Radio and GBN TV in Grenada. We are also viewed on Sundays at 8 p.m. on WPG 10 throughout the Caribbean. Thanks for watching.